always, guys, I've got good news and I've got bad news when it comes to the Legasea Aquarium. And by bad news, I don't mean that it started snowing here in Michigan, which it has. You guys know that I've mentioned that we really wanted to open up right after Christmas. Well, that's not gonna happen, and that's because of the domino effect. Starting with Salt and Pepper's tank, which is gonna go right here on this wall, a giant 20-foot long enclosure that should house them for their entire life, which is gonna be absolutely amazing. The downside is that the front of the enclosure is a giant 20-foot piece of glass. That glass is still in China. That's right, it's not even on a ship yet. So we're looking at probably 6 weeks before it ends up in port. We're probably looking at another 3 or 4 weeks before it's actually built and then actually got to get shipped up here. And if you do the math, certainly that's about 2 months from now at the best case scenario that Salt and Pepper's enclosure is gonna show up. But it's not all bad news, there's good news as well. I talked to my buddy Jeff over at Pondering Waters. He's gonna be doing the turtle pond that's gonna be right over here. And he actually brought this by, which is absolutely incredible. This piece of driftwood that's gonna go in the turtle pond. I mean, how cool is this? All the nooks and crannies, it looks so incredible. And this will be the area that the turtles can actually get out of the water. So the turtle pond is going to start getting built here within the next couple weeks and shouldn't take long before it's going to be done. It's going to look so good.
Hey, what are you doing? I've been trying to work on this. What do you think?
What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna get some reinforcements.
You got plans?
Yeah.
Anyways, what we're doing is very, very cold outside. It's snowing and it's sticking. I even have pants on now. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, he's hands on like now. Watch out, ladies.
Anyways, what we're doing is we're gonna build a little fort thing because now it's chilly. Who doesn't like to get all snuggled up in a little fort underneath some couch cushions and watch some movies?
So, Mike, I see we've got foam pads. Why?
I figured this should be like the couch cushions, you know, like build out the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Building wall. Dude, it's like welding a wall together.
You and I have very different ideas going on in our heads about what you're doing, so
Yeah,
I'll let you.
I can tell.
And like I've been telling you, I'm at the mercy of kind of things showing up and getting done. We bought a bunch of acrylic tanks. Matter of fact, the majority of the rest of the tanks that are going in are going to be acrylic. They're going to be absolutely amazing. And right here is actually a 14-foot long bow front tank. They look so absolutely incredible. The problem is the front of that bow front is being special made in Mexico. That's right, and it's not quite done yet. So I'm going to get an answer within the next couple days when it's going to ship, but it's got to go from Mexico down to Texas, and then the bow front actually has to get put together, which is going to take some time. So again, that tank we're looking at anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks from now if we're lucky to get in here. And again, you got to remember with tanks, it's not like you just throw them in and you throw animals in like you do reptiles. You have to cycle them, you have to put the filtration in. So even once it's in here and it's in its spot, it's going to take probably 2 or 3 weeks just to get it rolling, and then we have to cycle it for a couple weeks. So again, you can see why the domino effect is starting to happen. One thing doesn't happen, another thing doesn't happen, it pushes that date back and back and back and back. Some really great news is that Ahmed's team, the themers, are back in town. They actually start again tomorrow. They've got to finish obviously this tank, which is the freshwater stingray tank, but then they have to paint all the tanks. They still got to theme stuff. They got to put corals on all the poles. They got to finish the touch. They have a lot of work to do to kind of finish it up, but they're going to be here for the next 2.5 weeks or so. So they're going to get this place completely themed out so that at least their job is done. I can't wait to have them back on the job tomorrow because it's just fun to watch them go. Speaking of fun, Felipe's team is back next week to do all the buffing of the acrylic, which is pretty cool. It'll be good to see him again.
I was kind of just thinking like we could put this on top though. Like you do when you have a pillow fort, you throw the blankets over, you feel like you're like hiding.
Sure. Yeah, dude. I think that's a great idea.
Let's go get the banana. First, can you put that together? Is it?
I'm still welding.
You have like not made any progress in the last 10 minutes.
Done, son.
I think
Now you're making a cube.
I'm sorry, a rectangle.
Who's gonna fit in there?
We could fit in that.
Who's gonna fit in that?
Don't you want it to be cozy?
Hello? What's up? Oh, here. Okay, listen. Hello? Oh.
Why are you building a fort?
Listen. Oh, here. Okay. Hello?
And Felipe's team is back just in time. We got these giant coral pieces that are super heavy, and I'm wondering if I can actually bribe him like I did last time to see if he can help me put it into the tanks. Because again, I don't know how we're gonna lift this up and put it in there. I have no clue how we're gonna do it. Hopefully with any luck, I can get Felipe's team to help us get it in this tank so that Med's team can actually theme it right inside. Something other positive is that the drywallers are coming in. Now this wall will go all the way down here, but we needed the wall so that we can do the theming. And of course, if you can look, this is not what we wanted, right? We wanted this wall to be right up against here, but they couldn't put it up against here because the way this wall was actually poured with the forms, it's actually out of whack really bad. If you look way down over here, you can barely see it. This wall is actually right up against it. So this is as close as it is. So I'm hoping that Ahmed's team can figure a way to somehow theme this onto the back of this wall. And that's what we need on all the tanks, is we need the drywall behind so that he could actually theme the tank to the walls itself. And hopefully the majority of the walls won't be 6 inches out like this one is. And of course the shark tank that was lost at sea for so long, did arrive last week. And unfortunately, my buddy Alex that's doing the Shark Tank, which he's gonna do an absolutely amazing job. Not only on that, he's working with us on a bunch of other enclosures. He's an absolute genius. But he doesn't have any control over when that tank actually shows up in Indiana. Any day now, it's gonna get shipped to Indiana. Once it's there, then he can give me an absolute date when he's gonna be able to bring it here and put it together. But until he gets it, he's kind of just sitting back waiting like I am. And you guys remember when we put these tanks on these giant metal stands? Well, again, remember when we were gonna pour cement here to actually put the Shark Tank on? Well, we decided now we're gonna go with the steel stand just like this, and actually Steve Bashey's team is gonna make it. But unfortunately, that takes a lot of time. The steel actually arrived last week, and they're starting to do the bending. But we're talking about a giant thing. I mean, probably 10,000 pounds of steel, right? So we're gonna build them in quarters. So each quarter is gonna get built, and it's gonna be sent here. But we also have to build the tank around all of this too, right? So it's not like you're just building 4 pie-shaped pieces. You're actually building 4 pie-shaped pieces that have to fit big things in the middle. And we can't lift them up and set them over because these things are literally, each quarter is gonna be like 2,500, 3,000 pounds. So this is gonna take some time. The stands itself looks like we're about 3 weeks out from being completely done with the stands, and then the stands will be in here waiting for the Shark Tank.
Perfect, dude. Now it's all camouflaged so the other animals can't see it while they're chilling out.
No, this doesn't make any sense, Mike.
What do you mean?
Where's the door? How are we gonna get in?
I didn't think about a door. You look like the white glove everybody loves Raymond.
Are you telling me I look like a 45-year-old woman?
No. Anyways, I came up with a new idea for our thing.
I hate you, Mike. Yeah. All right, Mike, so this is the baby gate that you selected, but I'm gonna tell you why we selected it, okay? Is that okay?
Go for it.
It's because we're gonna wrap it, or we're gonna create like a perimeter around the house to protect us in case there's any invaders at night.
Okay, so like, listen, Mike, okay? So we're gonna use this baby gate, and we're gonna make the walls.
What's going on, guys?
So Lori, listen, since it's cold outside now, we're gonna have the reading with reptiles coming up. So, fort.
No.
No?
No. Definitely not.
How about movie night?
What are you trying to achieve?
Fort.
How about you do your work?
Rough plumbing is basically done now. We actually have an inspector that's coming tomorrow to inspect them. Once he gives us the thumbs up, we can actually backfill this with the dirt, and we can actually get cement down here. And wow, is it going to be amazing to get cement back on these floors and not have all these chasms of dirt just everywhere. That's when the place will really start coming back together. So the plumbing that has been quite a bit of a nightmare, looks like we at least have the rough part done. I tell you what, guys, it is freezing. Michigan winter has arrived. You can see the snow flurries in the air. Woke up this morning with about a ½ inch of snow on the ground. And you might notice what we're missing here at this door and that door still is, yeah, the bridges. The bridges were supposed to be here like a couple months ago, got it redesigned, different types of things have happened. So I don't even have a status update on the bridges, to be honest. So hopefully I'll find out later this week the status on when the bridges will eventually arrive. You know, I cannot wait till there's a bunch of beautiful fish in these tanks and all the tanks, as a matter of fact. And speaking of fish, we actually worked really hard with the company to kind of procure the majority of the fish. About 95% of the fish that we're getting from one source, and they're actually going to truck it up. Well, they actually gave us a date to deliver it, which was the end of January. The problem is that you start talking about all these delays, the domino effect, and I don't know if we're going to be ready by the end of January for fish. Like I said, you can't rush that process. You know, the tanks have to be cycled. We don't want to get fish in and have them all die, so we have to make sure the tanks are ready to go. So now we're in this position where we either postpone it now, or we may have to pay them extra money to hold on to the fish for an extra week or two if we're not ready. So it's kind of hard. You know, part of me wants a hard deadline. No, we're going to get this by the end of January. But the other part of me is like, realistically, we should probably push it off a week or two just to make sure that the tanks are all ready. I don't know what to do. I hate to keep pushing off the open, but at the same time, we can't really do anything about it. We have to wait till everything is done properly.
Hey, Mike, have you seen her?
I don't know where she went. Let's get back to the porch side.
The fort.
Ah! You knocked the ceiling down. What are you talking about? Mike did that.
Oh no, it's falling.
We're never gonna get this fort done.
Here in a couple days, we're actually going to finish up this, but the guys actually came in and put the cement board up, the Duraboard up. That basically is the backing for the weeping wall. So basically, this is what you would use behind like tile in a bathroom. So you want it to be waterproof. So then we're going to have to just come back. We're going to have to seam all of these seams, and then we actually put like an epoxy on there just so that any water ever gets behind the universal rock sheet, it won't penetrate and go and become a water problem, mold, whatever the case may be. We had a lot of leaks over at the other reptarium. We're trying not to have leaks here if at all possible. It's going to happen, but we're going to try to avoid it. So it's nice to have the cement board up. This will be the weeping wall, and later this week we're actually going to be finishing this, and we'll take you guys along on the journey. I'm excited about it. And guys, definitely make sure you tune into this, because it is going to be absolutely incredible to hang up a giant piece of universal rock here, to have it completely straight. I don't even know how we're going to do it, because it's a lot of weight. It's like hanging up a bed sheet that weighs 400 pounds. It's going to be kind of difficult to make sure that it's straight without any creases or anything like that. So it's going to be a pretty fun but very rewarding job. Remember a couple weeks ago when I told you that the Legacy project almost stopped completely? We had some issues. One day I hope I can share this story, because it's a crazy story. But unfortunately, we did have to stop a couple of the trades just because we weren't sure what the future was going to be. That was the HVAC, which is the heating, cooling, and electrical, right? The problem with that is that they went on to other jobs now. Now they have to finish their other jobs before they come back. The electrical is going to take a month and a half or so to get all of it done, and it can't get done until the walls are all done too. So the walls have to go up, and the walls can't go up until we get all these tanks in. Once the tanks are in, we can put the walls up, and then they can finish the electric up, and so on and so forth. So it all takes a lot of time, and unfortunately, we're now pushed off because they left the job. Now, hopefully what I've been told is maybe later this week or next week, the electricians are going to be back on the job, and they'll be working all the way through until the end of the project. The same goes for the HVAC guys. And then, of course, we have to talk about the holiday season. We already had last week, which was a Thanksgiving weekend, that basically blew almost the whole week because people were hunting and at Thanksgiving. Now we've got Christmas coming up, so there's vacation, there's family time, and then New Year's, so that kind of gets into a thing. We want it to be open during the holiday season, and now the holiday season is actually going to come bite us in the butt when it comes to the contractor, because they're going to need time off with their family, which is understandable. I totally get it, but that's going to slow the process down again, which I didn't want to have happen. But again, we have to just live with it and work as hard as we can to get this place done as quickly as possible. Like I had mentioned before, that deadline for Christmas was definitely a pipe dream, and turns out it's definitely not going to happen. Now, I would say, if I was really being honest with myself, sometime maybe the beginning or middle of February, we're hoping for the open of the Legacy Aquarium, if we can get this thing all worked out. Speaking of how, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.